Hey, so today is July 4th, 2025, and it's the day that I finally get to see one of my longtime dreams come true. I've always dreamed of flying, and I began to pursue flying airplanes quite a few years ago, and with the ultimate goal of being able to fly cross-country or fly across the United States. And one of those places I always wanted to fly to, I've dreamed of making my first long cross-country flight to, is Ohio. It's where I used to live. I've got some family up there. And so I've been pursuing that dream. Well, last year in June of 2024, I purchased this airplane with the sole purpose of hoping that I could fly across the country in it. Well, today is that day. It's almost 6 a.m. in the morning. The sun is just now starting to come up. I've got a 650 nautical mile flight that I'm getting ready to take. I'm gonna bring you along with me. I'm gonna document this as my first long cross-country flight. So here we go. I just traveled the first leg of, there's gonna be a total of 3 legs for this trip. It's about 8 a.m. in the morning. It's close to a 2-hour flight. We're here in Dexter, Missouri, and kind of a nice little quaint, quiet airport. There's a pilot's lounge right here. You can go in, get snacks, use the restroom, take a break if you need to. So how this is done, some people ask me how you plan this. How I do it is I've got an app, flying app, and so I can look all across the country and see different airports. I can also look at the length of the runways, the asphalt concrete conditions. I can see comments from other pilots of when they've stopped there and what their ratings were. And so I tried to pick kind of little halfway points along this trip and plan the best route that I felt to get to Ohio. So this was the first stop. Wanted to try it out just to see if this is a place I want to stop in the future on this leg. And so far I kind of like this little airport. Easy in, easy out. So. All right, it's time to load up, and the next stop is Bloomington, Indiana. Welcome to Bloomington. All right, I've landed in Bloomington, Indiana. Got these guys filling up my plane. Man, awesome to have guys like this on a holiday, July 4th, out here working to help me out. So go in here and see if we can find something to eat. Found me a cookie here in Bloomington. So this flight's around, I think I said 650 nautical miles. On the ground, it's over 900 miles, which is about a straight through driving with very minimal stops, quick stops. It's 13 hours drive. So it's hard to make it in a single day driving, but flying, I can do it in 5 hours. My plane has been averaging somewhere between 150 to 160 miles an hour ground speed. So moving along pretty quick. Other than that, it's kind of fun. Hey, so a little bit of information about my plane. I purchased this plane in June of 2024. It's called a Rutan Long-EZ, and I call it my my poor man's plane because it's more of it's a little bit of an inexpensive type plane compared to others, but it goes really fast and it uses very little fuel. Other planes that are similar that use the same amount of fuel don't travel quite as fast or as high. This plane will go way up high so I can get high where the air is cool and where I can move pretty quick. Like I said, it moves about 150, 160 miles per hour at cruise. If I bring the throttle back, and I'm only burning a little over 5.5 gallons an hour. So 160 miles an hour at 5.5 gallons an hour, that's pretty good, I think. The show image here of the plane, I took the baggage pods off. It looked like little missiles on the side. I took it off because I'm not needing it this trip, and I'm able to get a little extra speed because there's no drag from those pods. But when those pods are on, I think it kind of adds to the personality of the plane, makes it look a little cooler. All right, so leaving Bloomington, it's 11:30 in the morning. 2-hour flight to the next place, which is my final destination, Port Clinton, Ohio, up on Lake Erie. So here we go. All right, we've officially made it to Port Clinton, Ohio, right here on Lake Erie. Shutting off my equipment, strobes off, tabs off, and battery off. Everything is officially off. Woo! First cross country complete, major cross country out of the state. It is 1:30 in the afternoon here, which means it's 12:30 at home. I left at 6 a.m., so about 6.5 hours with the 2 stops that I had to get here. So I'd say that's a lot better than the 13-hour straight drive. All right, there it is, all buttoned up with its brand new cover put on it. So after getting the plane secure there in Port Clinton, I got picked up and met the family, and we had a great dinner before heading off to Cleveland, Ohio, where we'd spend the evening with our friends watching the Guardians play at Progressive Field. It was a great time, a good night for a ball game there on July 4th, followed by some fireworks. The next couple days spent at Cedar Point with the family and friends, and then became the planning and preparation for the flight and return flight home. I had been watching the weather. Their low pressure system had moved in, and it was definitely going to be an interesting return trip home. Well, now is the time to try to go back. We had a couple good days, went to Cedar Point, and now I'm looking forward to this return flight home. The weather was bad here yesterday, and so I was hoping for an opening in the sky, and I think I finally got it. I think it finally, there's a break. I see some blue holes. Gonna hit it and go home. Good morning. I've made it back to Bloomington, Indiana. It is currently, I think it's 9 o'clock this time here, 8 o'clock at home. So So making good time. Weather looks really good here. Hallelujah. Gonna take a quick bathroom break and then head on. There she is again in Bloomington, Indiana, on the ramp. Headed south, and I think we're gonna have a layer of overcast maybe below us. As long as I can find a hole to get down in Fayetteville, I'll be good. So, might make this next leg the last. We'll see if I stop. So it was during this next leg that I'd find myself having to navigate storms. They begin to pop up all over Arkansas and Missouri, and I'd never been faced with this before. So I was suddenly having to decide in the air, do I go north up and around the storms? There's Class B airspace with St. Louis, or do I go ahead and go south and come around the southern edge of the storms into the northeast corner of Arkansas? And I chose that because I know the route well, and the storms seem to be moving in a northeast direction. I ended up landing in Jonesboro, where I topped off some fuel and began to look at the radar a little closer, and the storms only grew bigger. I found a route going back north into Missouri and wrapping up around the northern side of some of the northwest Arkansas storms, where I would eventually come around on the west side on the Oklahoma line and back into Fayetteville, Arkansas from the west. So it was quite the trip, a long way around, and an adventure at the very least. Almost there. Did it. We're home. I made it home. Ah! With storms all around. All right, I made it. That was it. My first long, multi-state cross-country trip. It was perfect. It seemed like it was perfect going up there, if I remember right. And coming home was a different story. There began to be, I had all kinds of different cloud layers, overcast, storm cells that were moving through, pop-up showers that were coming up. I had to go around different ways, track to the south, and I had to go back to the north, and eventually had to swing around and go all the way west of my home base and come back into it from the backside as the storm moved to the east. So that was new. That was a new experience, but it was good. I'm safe. I'm down. The plane's good. So now for the next adventure.